The United States has dropped a bombshell on the global trading system. On April 3, 2025, a 10% tariff on all imports went into effect. This unprecedented move sends shockwaves across the world. The Trump administration argues this is necessary to protect American jobs and reduce the trade deficit. They call it America's Liberation Day, a declaration of economic independence. This tariff is not a negotiating tactic. It is a deliberate policy shift. The White House calls it a national emergency, emphasizing the seriousness of the situation. This is not the free trade world we have known. This is a world where America comes first, regardless of the consequences. The immediate impact is clear. Prices will rise for American consumers. Everything from cars to clothing will become more expensive. The administration argues this will boost domestic production. However, many economists predict a different outcome. They foresee job losses as companies struggle with higher costs. The long-term consequences are more difficult to predict. One thing is certain: the global trading system is in uncharted territory. This is the biggest change in a century. A fundamental shift away from globalization. The world is watching, waiting to see how this gamble plays out. The initial reaction to the US tariffs was swift and brutal. Asian stock markets tumbled overnight, reflecting the deep uncertainty surrounding the future of global trade. While the US stock market initially showed resilience, the long-term impact on American companies is far from certain. Tesla, the electric car manufacturer, is a prime example of the potential fallout. The company relies heavily on global supply chains and exports to key markets like China. With tariffs driving up costs and potentially sparking retaliatory measures, Tesla's growth prospects are now clouded with uncertainty. The UK, a close trading partner of the US, is also bracing for impact. Economists predict the UK economy could shrink by 1% due to reduced trade and investment. This could force the government to raise taxes or cut spending, further dampening economic activity. The story is similar in Canada and Germany. Both countries are heavily reliant on exports to the US, and their economies are expected to suffer. The tariffs could even push Germany, already teetering on the brink, into a full-blown recession. The world is not standing still in the face of American protectionism. The European Union, a staunch advocate for free trade, has condemned the US tariffs. EU leaders warn of retaliatory measures, potentially targeting iconic American companies like Apple and Google. Other countries are also exploring ways to mitigate the damage. Some are looking to forge closer trade ties with each other, bypassing the US altogether. India, for example, sees an opportunity to boost its manufacturing sector and attract foreign investment. The tariffs could accelerate a shift in global economic power, away from the West and towards Asia. This is not just about tariffs and trade balances, it is about trust. The US, once seen as a reliable champion of free trade, has now become unpredictable and isolationist. This will have lasting consequences for America's standing in the world. The world is entering a new era of trade, one marked by uncertainty and volatility. The old rules no longer apply and the new rules are still being written. One thing is certain: the global economy will never be the same. The introduction of universal tariffs by the United States represents a seismic shift in the global economic order. It marks a retreat from the free trade principles that have underpinned global prosperity for decades. The implications of this move are far-reaching and profound. The interconnectedness of the global economy means that the impact of these tariffs will be felt far beyond America's borders. Companies with global supply chains like Tesla will face difficult choices. Consumers everywhere will feel the pinch of higher prices, and the rules-based trading system, already under strain, will be further weakened. This is not just a blip on the radar, a temporary aberration. This is a fundamental shift in the tectonic plates of the global economy. The US, once the architect and guarantor of the liberal trading order, is now actively dismantling it. The future of trade is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the world is moving away from globalization as we know it. The era of seamless integration and frictionless trade is coming to an end. The new era will be defined by regional blocs, managed trade, and a heightened sense of economic nationalism.